those standings. There is an update on that, by the way. I'm not 100% certain on this, but I am getting told by one of the admins that apparently Druids decided to forfeit the rest of their matches. So they're 2-3. So if that is the case, then that means they finished 2-5. So again, that really means that Will Smith and Pikachu are the two teams remaining to kind of compete for that third and final spot in Group B, which once again makes that later match that much more important. So cannot wait to see that one as well.
It's always unfortunate when an organization like that decides to forfeit and just
Yeah.
kind of doesn't look the greatest. But anyway, we do have the game. It actually has been started. Everybody is ready. So let's go ahead and jump into the game, guys. This is Game 2 of QsQ versus FYKU Curdy and this very important Group Stage Series match. Of course, FYKU, if they do win this, they do go on and put themselves in a great position for securing for getting that one of those top 3 spots into the best-of-5 finals.
Both of these teams do. Both of these teams do in the end. So, yeah, great series ahead of us. We've already had an awesome Game 1. Can't wait to see how QsQ responds here in Game number 2. But you look at the blind bands, starting it off as always, Monkey King and Keeper of the Forest. So, once again, the Monkey King band. But this time, instead of Dark Lady, they ban Keeper of the Forest. But look at Hellborn's side. They go with Ophelia and Dark Lady themselves. So, it's kind of funny how that worked out. But we are yet again not going to see that Dark Lady pickup. But, yeah, the Keeper of the Forest blind ban. I mean, who was that on him last game? I think it was Kors, or Pinky Curdy. That's who it was.
Right.
Playing him, did a fantastic job on him last game. So
he really did. He played it very actively, and that's what I love to see. I don't like seeing Keeper of the Forest, farm, and then get one item and try to push before it's too late. He really did push. He pushed at level 5, so he was pushing even, or at least attempted to push before we even had that ultimate. I think that's fine, especially when you're up against the bubbles. It forced Illuna to move down there, and that's actually right when we saw the first blood come out onto Pebbles. Mm-hmm. Of course, Pebbles did have that DD. He probably should have had that kill, but it was a really good heads-up play by Shizor.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, forcing the enemy team to move around, that's ultimately what you want to do.
Interesting stuff going on here. We got Voodoo Jester first lock. That's not so interesting. Of course, QsQ, that's typical. Bubbles and Kinesis lock, though. And the fun thing about Kinesis, again, as I talked about earlier in this cast, if you saw yesterday's matchup, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Jeppins and playing that Kinesis for the returners. Oh, my God, did he show the potential of that hero. It's one of those heroes, though, being newer on the competitive scene. We're not too sure if really many other teams or players, let alone that, even are comfortable with the hero yet. But FYKU locking up Kinesis, so it does make me wonder a little bit if they do have a Kinesis player over here on their side. I'm kind of quickly just browsing through to see if any of their recent games are Kinesis, but it doesn't look like it. But that is interesting, and it's going to be fun to see if we have another Kinesis player on the competitive scene. Illuna Glacius are the follow-ups here. So how about that? QsQ, they lock Voodoo Jester, Glacius, and Luna. They want to make sure to at least have one of those, if not 2 supports.
Yeah, I don't really know about that, especially when there's junglers in the board. And if FYKU realizes that they could ban out all the junglers right now. Like, they could not put in a jungler right here and then ban out Parasite, ban out Tempest. And again, I think that would put QsQ in an awkward position. That would take them out of their comfort zone. So I'm really interested to see what FYKU does as far as this last lock. That's a lot of support. And again, I just don't really see the point of it, especially when they do love to run Voodoo Jester so much. But we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. That's a very squishy lock pool. But and the last lock is going to be Engineer. So if FYKU decides to maybe ban out both the Tempest and Parasite, which I think they should, I think that's going to put QsQ in an awkward position yet again.
Yeah, we'll see how this banning phase, again, plays out here with that final lock happening. Jerizai going to be the first lock from QsQ. There's Fade, first banned, ban. So Jerizai banned, Fade banned on top of that from FYKU. But you talked about especially Tempest and Ophelia, or not Ophelia, but Tempest and Parasite there being on the pool. We'll see if FYKU decides to ban those 2 heroes or if they indeed are left open. SQ-wide, putting a little bit into thought into this next ban, though. It is going to be an Amphora. Over back to Shizor. Is it going to be one of those 2? If not, then it could be a little interesting. It is... I hope he's doing it quickly.
Now, I will say, I'm pretty sure QsQ has run Warbeast in the past. And so they are going to ban out that Tundra. They don't want to give him Tundra for good reason. I mean, we saw Shizor play a great Tundra last game. It gives you so much map control. It's a strong solo. It has lots of burst potential in that early to mid-game. And they don't want to give that to the QsQ.
So that means both Tempest and Parasite are on the board. So QsQ now, if they don't ban one of those, that there's at least one of those that are going to be open. Moraxis is going to be the final ban for QsQ. And for FYK, I mean, you still got Pebbles. You got those 2 jungles as we keep going back to. You got Plague we see him banned every now and then. You got the carry options, still Silhouette, Draconis, and Mage Bane still out there. So there is some decision to be made here, no doubt, for FYKU. You know, banning a jungle here could almost hurt them now in this sense. So you would think it's not going to be one of those two jungles here now. Instead, going to be maybe Draconis, maybe not. We'll see. He's putting some thought into this, though, using a good amount of extra time, actually.
Yeah.
To go with this final ban. It is going to be Silhouette, so Draconis does remain, as well as the two jungles and everything else.
Okay, well, I think they're taking their other really go-to hero. If they can't get Dark Lady, they really like to play Silhouette over those other hard carries, over Forsaken Archer, over Mage Bane, and even Draconis. Now, that being said, I was just going to say, that being said, I would not be surprised if they first picked Draconis.
Could they pick Tempest Parasite here? For FYKU?
I mean, they could, yeah, definitely they could, but there's still War Beast in the pool, and I mean, if you're trying to completely negate them from picking a jungler, that's not really going to be the solution. But they definitely could. That would be a very interesting picking phase. The other thing you have to think about, though, is you only have one more pick after that, and then you have to go towards that lock pick. They do go with the Parasite. I think Parasite's a little bit smarter here against and over the Tempest. I do know that QsQ, Male specifically plays a great Parasite. He always seems to have a very fast codex. He plays very aggressively with the Parasite. He goes for early boots into the Ghost Marchers right away. Skips that Ring of Sorcery. Just realizes he doesn't really need that excess of mana, and as a result, has a very fast codex.
Very, very good point. So that's indeed their first two pickups. Of course, you look at the lock pool and who they already have, FYKU. There's a chance they could go for something like that Mage Bane or Forsaken Archer here as their third and final regular pick, but we'll see ultimately what they go with in the end. Draconis, of course, that first pick for QsQ, I'm sure that's going to eventually be swapped to Nox, and that is a scary hero-player combination to go up against. Nox is one of the most impressive farmers on the scene recently, and to have the hands on Draconis, that is very deadly. Now you throw Plague Rider and Tempest on top of that. Again, the synergy is definitely meshing together there as well. I mean, they got a lot of Teamfight potential now already. The AoE's there. They got some great lanes being set up possibly. There is Forsaken Archer, though, as the final pickup from FYKU.
Ooh, I really like that pick. I really, really do. That can synergize well with a Parasite in the long lane. So if they realize, okay, well, we see a Plague Rider in the long lane, Tempest in the jungle, maybe Draconis there with a support, and then a mid like Bubbles or something, we can go against it aggressively with a Parasite. They're going to pick up Bubbles first. That's smart because there's so many supports to choose from. They don't really need to pick one now. They can just pick their mid hero. Bubbles is probably going to go mid, Plague Rider top, Draconis plus X being one of those supports. Yeah, and so if FYKU, say they take like...
Kinesis Aluna.
Yeah, well, yeah, they could do that. They could do a lot of different things. That would actually be really, really strong.
Oh, come on.
So it's going to be a solo Aluna, which I think is actually just as strong and maybe probably a little bit stronger against the Plague Rider.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be up against that Plague Rider. So they're going to have a Luna, I'm guessing, top, Polywog mid, Glacius Parasite, Forsaken Archer in a strong, aggressive tri-lane in the long lane. I really like their lineup right now.
Yeah, that could definitely work out. So it's either Voodoo Jester and Engineer, I would think, here from QsQ. You would think being QsQ, it's probably going to be Voodoo Jester, but, it's obviously SQY's choice, and he has plenty of time to do so. It is going to be Voodoo Jester in the end, and that does obviously set up their lanes.
You know how... Sorry to cut you off. You know how smart that is that Glacius and Luna was picked up right there?
That's true.
It prevents them, it gives them Voodoo. Yes, the Voodoo is one of their comfort picks, but it's just not nearly as strong as Glacius or Luna in that if you're actually going toe-to-toe in a lane like this. Doesn't have that burst. And that's really smart. And they're not playing a Luna as a support, obviously, but it takes that away from QsQ. And I definitely think, despite them loving Voodoo Jester as much as they do, I definitely think they would have really preferred to have either Glacius or Luna over Voodoo in this case.
It's what helps make a Luna also a powerful hero on the competitive scene because, as you said, they're not playing her support, but she's a hero that can do that. I mean, she has great enough laning presence, and she can honestly be a fairly effective, decently farmed hero in that mid to late tier game. She's similar to, in that sense, kind of like a Torture. We've talked about a lot lately the Tempest and Keeper of the Forest, how they can either suicide or jungle. Wild's another example of that. So those kind of heroes where they can play several roles effectively on the competitive scene, you definitely got to value even higher. So yeah, it's a strong picks definitely coming out from FYK once again, and it looks like, at least for now, they're sending 4 players down bottom, so a possible aggressive trial lane being set up, pseudo trial lane at that, going up against the pseudo trial lane of QsQ. They are also sending Bubbles down here to try to protect this rune spot, but you see the Hellborn Courier is going to come out and spot some things. I don't know if they actually spotted the heroes just yet. There we go. They're going to start spotting them, and we'll see if they try to make a move, but I don't think they're going to get close enough, and obviously with QsQ seeing that, though, throw the alarms up a little bit. So they are going to get the Ward of Sight down to block the spawn. And now, will we see any switches as a result of this, or is it going to stay? You got to think if it stays, FYKs, you keep going back. That's an aggressive pseudo trial in, and it could cause some issues for Q Squad.
Yeah, I'm curious as to see where Voodoo does decide to place these wards. Obviously, they did not give one to Plague, but they don't really need to give one because maybe they suspect that Luna's going to be up there. And in that case, you don't have to ward the pole. It's just not really worth it. So, yeah, the ward's coming out from Voodoo, probably in the right above the, or right next to the rune down there in the bottom. But, yeah, I really don't think QsQ is going to favor in this lane. I really think they should have switched it up, maybe done a dual lane mid with the bubbles bottom. But either way, against this aggressive tri-lane, Tempest is going to have a hard time. He's going to have to just pretty much farm in two camps. This one that his elementals are going towards right now, and the one above it. If Parasite's able to do a good job of stealing those creeps and then leaving little to no farm for Tempest, at the same time ganking this bottom lane, it's going to work out for him very, very well.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely setting up to be pretty solid here for FYKU. You do see the Vagabond leader camp spawning, and the level 1 Tempest will go up on that. Oh, ouch. Ouch. He just lost it right away, but yeah, he's going to spawn some more, and it'll be fun in the end. So obviously those are from the initial spawn. But anyways, we do see a little bit of movement going on here right off the bat. In fact, Voodoo Jester, he placed one ward of sight here at that bottom rune spot, and now we'll see where else he goes. FYKU is going to throw it a pause, though, again here in game number 2, so hopefully not too long, and we can resume. Parasite was able to pick up a Catman champion off the bat here, and it looks like he's maybe heading bottom, so possible dive potential, but you would think maybe waiting for at least around a level 3 mark would be the best choice here for FYQ to commit to a kill. So no adjustments being made ever since the beginning, so that kind of looks at how the other lanes are setting up. Polywalk Priest versus Bubbles mid. Do you have a favorite there, an advantage there?
It's pretty even, actually. The only thing is that Bubbles has a little bit of advantage as far as getting the runes. Obviously, you can use that Shell Surf to get to the runes quicker. They both have spammable abilities as far as pushing out that lane before you want to get to the rune. So it's actually quite even. Obviously, once you hit level 6 Bubbles, he has ways of getting out of that ward trap, so you have to favor him a little bit in that regard. But it's still quite an even lane.
Yeah. Well, looks like they are ready to go, so hopefully we're going to be coming back soon here and getting some Heroes of New Earth going on. What is game number 2 here in this best of the 3 course? Our first part of our double header today. What is a beautiful Saturday afternoon. At least where I'm from. Hopefully you're enjoying your day as well. You're tuning into Honcast. Of course you're enjoying it. The top lane, Aluna versus Plague Rider. The final matchup to talk about. And you see VN Sensation right here. He's going aggressive against Jonas and Fan. A lot of pressure being applied. Jonas Fan does not have Contagion. He's very aware of that, of course, with the Extinguish level 1. And taking advantage of that big time. So great aggression coming out from Aluna early on.
Unfortunately, missing some CS there, though, so that's kind of a big deal for him. He's only 1-1, and Plague Rider's got this entire wave to farm, so that's kind of unfortunate. He was being aggressive, and he can, because Jonas Fan actually does not have any health potions. So he's going to regen a little bit slower, but now that he has level 3... Oh, no, okay, he's still level 2. I thought he was going to hit level 3 after that last creep. But he's going to have the nuking potential on him. So, yep, right away you see him nuke. It doesn't do that much damage because it is only level 1, but nonetheless, he wants to spam it as much as he can because he's getting constant mana feeding from that Extinguish ability. Yeah,
you see at the bottom lane getting pushed up a little bit right there, but now going back in favor of this Glacius Forsaken Archer. And Forsaken Archer already off to a 7-3 start, so Ninja Pui had a great job on Silhouette last game. Solid start for him this time on Forsaken Archer. Middle lane, Bubbles going aggressive against Polywalk Priest here. Not enough mana for a follow-up on top of the auto attacks, but forcing Polywalk Priest to fall back a little bit. And again, so really the middle and the top lane both continuing to harass. The power throw missed at the top lane by Aluna, and Aluna's in a lot of trouble now. She's going to go to the trees, though, eat one, and she will survive, but missing that power throw definitely cost her, as Jonas Fan felt very secure in terms of going for a kill himself. So good pressure being applied right there. And you said it, I mean, VN Sensation, he's harassing quite a bit, but the creep farm isn't the most impressive. He isn't capitalizing on that. So he needs to be, kind of a happy medium there between those two.
Yeah, he just needs to see us just a little bit better. He's going to be aggressive here on Plague. Plague does have Extinguish up in 8 seconds, so we'll be able to nuke when that is up. Pretty much all the region on Luna, and actually probably Plague too. Yeah, Plague as well, has been expended, so they don't have that to work with. Polywalk, let's check out his early farm
bottom
against
lane, by
bottom
the way,
lane.
Kill possibly coming out. Voodoo Jester will fall right there. Ninja Pui on Forsaken Archer. gets credit for the Bloodlust. That was just a good catch with a crippling volley. The Glacius follow-up and the Leech came out from Parasite. But as you said, I mean, Glacius and Forsaken Archer alone, that's such a strong lane comp, a lot of kill potential, and Voodoo Jester just simply got out of position there.
Yeah, it is a really strong lane comp. And in fact, they don't even really need Parasite to help them. I think Parasite could honestly just farm in his own jungle, maybe put up a gank onto Plague Rider. I don't think they're going to need him down here. I don't think Tempest is going to really be ganking this bottom lane either. They have the wards up, they have the vision, so they know that they will spot him out when he decides to come. So actually, Parasite's looking for a creep down here, but he's not going to find it, so he's kind of wasting his time just a tad bit, and that's unfortunate. This is a jungler that, it's not the fastest farming jungler, but he does have the potential to hit level 6 very quickly if you just stay in that jungle and farm.
Yeah. So Tempest has a 2-level advantage over him with that set. So yeah, definitely a slow start in that sense for Pinky Curdy. Granted, he did get the assist at least at the bottom lane. But Tempest going to farm up this Minotaur here, has the replicate spawning, and is going to gladly go to the next camp, which will be a Vulture Lord camp. However, Catman Champion will be taken over by Parasite, and he's heading maybe towards the middle lane, and maybe he's just going to try to find Tempest and harass him. Polywalk Priest, speaking of rune control, you said Bubbles might have the advantage, but Polywalk Priest actually goes to the bottom rune at 4 minutes and bottles it up, has the invisibility, going to use it right there as well as some of the regen, and may look to, I don't know how close he is to level 6. He's probably, he's a little bit behind Bubbles actually in the experience from him. He's going to open right here with a tongue-tied actually, as here comes Parasite. The Catman Champion nuke didn't go off right there. I don't think it happened in time. I don't even know if it would have mattered in the end as he was able to port away. So good attempt, but not going to happen. Top lane, Luna will fall right here. Jonathan Fan gets the kill. I just caught the tail end of that. Watching the middle action. Plague Rider just going to run away from the creep wave and will survive. So a lot of aggression at the top lane finally results in a kill for Plague Rider.
That's really unfortunate. Really, Luna should honestly win that lane. I mean, it's close. Plague does have the potential to win the lane. It's not like it's a horrible mismatch like Bubbles versus Silhouette, but I still favor Luna in that short lane. A lot of extra trees were actually purchased by by Plague Rider. If you notice, he actually bought 6 more, and I think he's used 4 of them already. So just wants that region, wants to be able to stay in that lane. Luna's back up top, though. He wants blood in the mid lane. Oh, no, Poly's in a lot of trouble. The port actually does come out mid. It's canceled, though, as Polywog is going to be fine. But yeah, to mention, though, about that gank in mid, the Shell Surf actually from Bubbles immediately killed the Catman. So not only did he get away and stop the gank, but he got credit for that kill on the Catman as well.
He's like, thank you for the farm. I'll gladly take that. Voodoo Jester running in Tempest also here. There's the acid cocktail. It's not going to bounce up, but will it be enough for the kill? Tempest is not level 6, so no ultimate going to be coming out. There's a crippling volley. Cursed Ground going to be applied, though. Forsaken Archer. Oh, the last auto attack. That's going to be really close. I don't think it's going to be enough. See how much it takes for it? Yeah, it's definitely not going to be enough. So only level 2 Cursed Ground, and is that level 2? Yeah, it is level 2, but he is able to survive. So the Tempest gank coming out. He's got that Ring of Sorcery, of course, using it right there. Might as well try to make a tower push out of this now. He has level 3 elementals on top of that and having them replicate right there. And here comes a lot of tower damage, but you do need to be careful not to give all that farm to Forsaken. And actually, it's not going to happen. But again at the top lane, Bubbles this time assisting. He did use the Kel Field, picks up a kill onto a Luna. VN Sensation not having a great start whatsoever. And again, she's under 100 gold per minute. It seems like she's at a bad lane setup, but it's not, and just not able to really get anything going for whatever reason. Middle lane is being aggressively pushed, though. Towers are down. He's had Parasite assisting. This could be closer to tower kill. Bubble's going to join the party, though, and it's going to be a deny threat here. Polywalk Priest going to dive into the, knowing he doesn't have a Shell Surf. There's the tower kill. Shizor will get credit for it, so some good play right there at least.
Yeah, I mean, you had the first kill. Whenever you die once, the potential to die a second time is always much, much higher.
Deny.
Good deny coming out from Chorus. The Cursed Ground does hit on Forsaken Archer. He's in a little bit of trouble, taking a lot of damage. I think he's taking a little bit too much. He does try to get a counter kill on Draconis. He knows he's going to die. He's like, I'm going to take you down with me. A couple more auto attacks, maybe one more. Draconis is fogging him just a little bit. And Luna, actually, did he miss something?
No, he went for the power throw on the bottom. Okay, they are going to clean up. I was going to say, they had a sure kill on Draconis, but you went for the power throw on the bottom. They will set up a kill on Tempest, though. Glacius will go down, and Voodoo Jester, his sole survivor in the end. But the minions are going to finish off a Luna. She totally forgot about those, it seemed like. And Malia at least gets a kill while being dead. That's always fun. Double tap for him. But yeah, that was an interesting fight that happened here at the bottom lane.
Well, it looked like Malia actually was blocking him while he was attacking him, so good job there. A little bit of action there in the mid. Bubbles trying to do some damage to Polywog, who actually has a decent farm after the tower kill. He's actually top farmer in the game at 340 gold per minute. So hopefully he can get some things changed and jump-started for his team, because they are in the back foot here in the early stages of the game. Another Grave Locket actually picked up onto Ninja Pew. So he really seems to like that item. I don't blame him. I think it's a very strong item regardless on what hero you pick it on.
It's you can regard it as being underrated even. I mean, you're right. It's every hero, let's be honest, can use intelligence. I mean, well, except maybe Amon-Ra, but every hero could use a mana pool, and you do use your abilities and whatnot. So it's not bad in that sense. And the 10-second reduction is actually pretty solid. You get that charge added up. You happen to die in a team fight like that. I mean, you're coming right back up, especially earlier on in the game is where it's really most effective. So. Yeah, it's hard to have a whole lot of arguments against it, and it obviously worked out very well for him last game. Top tower, though, is going to be aggressively pushed here. However, the minions will despawn, and not going to be any kill. Bottom lane, Forsaken Archer is in a lot of trouble. The kill fit holding him in place. Going to be enough for the kill. Style doing some movement here on Bubbles and setting up another kill. He is 1-0-1 now, so both mid-heroes for both of these teams actually having a solid game here.
That was a big kill for Bubbles and a big kill for QsQ. That was a much-needed kill because Forsaken Archer was finally finding some farm. Of course, they did start out well in the lane, but the gank potential from Tempest actually happened. And as I mentioned, I was saying earlier, well, Parasite doesn't really need to be there, but once they realized that the Tempest was rotating down there and ganking, and Voodoo Jester was staying there, he should have come back. And if anything, he should have applied a little bit more pressure before leaving. Or if he was going to leave, he needed something to happen in another lane. Like, if he was going to leave just to farm, that doesn't work out. He could have easily killed or even just started in his own jungle and constantly ganked this Plague Rider. But now, as a result, Plague Rider's got a ton of farm. He is so tanky. And look at where he's playing up. He's playing so far up with the assistance from Tempest sitting right behind him. But if they get some more people up here, they could get a good kill. Here comes Glacius. He's going to maybe put a ward here. And Plague is still pushing. So I feel like they get people rotating up here. They get very easy kills onto both of these heroes.
Yeah, Forsaken Archer, in the meantime, at the bottom lane, he is also in a little bit of trouble himself. In fact, here we go. The initiation going to happen. There's Bubbles coming in. The Curse of Ground comes out. Kelfield is not off cooldown. He's standing his ground, though. He has that Curse of Ground. I'm a little bit surprised at that. He probably just figured he was going to die anyways, and he does. So not able to turn anything around. Meanwhile, at the top side, there was a kill that happened. Polywire Priest locking down Plague Rider is going to be down. No, it's not. He dies in the end, but Plague Rider will fall right after. It does end up being a 2-for-1 at the top lane, but like I said, Forsaken Archer also getting picked off. So in the end, overall, a 2-for-2 exchange, just passing 10 minutes into this game right now. QsQ does have a hefty advantage. 3,000 gold lead, 3,600 experience. Nox on Draconis wasn't off to the prettiest start, but he is also starting to recover here in this middle lane, and no doubt will start snowballing himself if something doesn't happen quickly here for FYKU.
That was just not well played by Pinky Curdy, unfortunately. The tongue tie there by Polywog at the end onto Plague Rider. He knew that Plague Rider would have that contagion nuke by the time he got out of it. And Pinky Curdy just kind of kept running around this tree. He was still in the Minotaur. Had he just broken out and used that Q immediately, he would have killed him and actually saved Polywog. So kind of a big misplay right there. And yeah, I didn't catch the action there at the bottom or wherever that was, but Ninja Pew dying again. 1-3-1 start on Forsaken Archer. There's the action there at the top lane. Kelfield used a lot of damage coming out onto a Luna, who's still only level 6. So Bubbles are making plays on all parts of the map.
Yeah, Style is really getting things going here for QsQ. And he's, I don't want to say an underrated player by any means, but he's definitely kind of more of a quiet player on the team. We don't talk about him too much, but he's their go-to mid player, and he definitely has his shining moments as well. And this is no doubt one of those games, being 2-0-2 on Bubbles, doing a lot of movement here early on, and a big reason for their early success, definitely. 375 gold per minute on top of those hero kill stats. A great early farm for him. He's got Steam Boots, got his bottle. He is on his way to what looks like to be the portal key. You pick up, you would think, so another great pickup for him. Plague Rider, meanwhile, in the jungle, being double slowed between the Leech and the Thunder Blast, but still not going to be enough despite even the face hug being used by Parasite right there. He just tanks all that damage and is by all means fine. Bubbles right here is just an illusion, so they'll just quickly clean it up, but a lot of abilities used and not even close to, honestly, setting up and killing a Plague Rider right there. He just goes away, uses a health potion, and he's actually fine now in the end. By the way, Plague Rider is working on an Energizer.
Yeah.
He's got that Soul Scream and a couple of the crowns, so.
Wow, Polywog is up so far. I cannot believe Draconis did not go on to him while the Plague Nuke was on him as well. That was like a free kill. Of course, they don't know. Maybe they think he's baiting or something, but you do have heroes showing himself in the bottom lane, and you have a Luna showing himself in the top lane. So that was kind of a free kill, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it's one of those cases, like you said, was he baiting? He was playing like he was baiting, honestly, so you can't really blame it too much, I guess.
The heroes are showing, though. Like, Forsaken Archer is showing. I don't know if Glacius was showing at the time, but Luna's just sitting up here in the top lane, so. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the only other option is maybe Parasite, but I don't think he has the burst damage. Actually, bottom lane, or I should say the Ancients, there's the Kelpfield coming out. The ulti from the face hug coming out from Parasite. There's the Song of the Sea, does a lot of damage. The ulti from Forsaken Archer, it's not going to be enough. There's the Plague ultimate on top of the Tempest ultimate. They're going to get both of them. Can they actually get, actually Ninja Pew does get the kill onto Molly. They're looking for a Plague Rider. They do get the Hex. Is he going to have enough damage? The Tongue Tie's coming out. The ultimate's up there on Polywood Priest, but doesn't even need it. There's the Bitch Slap coming out, so Ninja Pew makes the what's the best of a worse situation.
Yeah, you know, if I'm FYKU, I'm actually happy with that exchange, honestly. Not only did you got Tempest and Plague Rider for Glacius Parasite, but you got double tap on Ninja Pewee playing that Forsaken Archer. So in the end, it was looking ugly for them initially. That you talked about it, the Tempest ultimate on top of a beautiful FYKU, where it looked very, very good, but still turned out better for FYKU. And Bubbles, actually, yeah, he survived. I'm a little bit surprised at that. You look at his life mana right now, tanking the Skeleton King. Needs to be careful, actually. One more would have probably done him in. He's going to be fine. War Trap in the meantime in the middle lane. On to Nox, and Nox will go down. So Shizor picking up a big kill here for FYKU. And hold your horses. I mean, it seemed like QsQ was getting a little bit of momentum there and going to start pulling away here early on in this game. But FYKU, they hold their ground. And in the matter of the last minute, really, all of a sudden, they're definitely right back in this game. And Ninja Pewee, specifically on Forsaken Archer, all of a sudden is now at 300 gold per minute again. So that's more good news.
Yeah, and I think it's really good, too, that he got the last hits for that. He needed that gold. He's now surpassed 300 gold the 300 gold per minute mark. Plague Rider going very aggressive there. Little does he know Glacius is sitting behind Forsaken Archer. But again, I actually really do like this Grey Block to pick up. It just makes him a little bit more tanky. Actually, in the mid lane, Polywog Priest in a lot of trouble. The Cursed Ground gets the last tick. And SQY gets credit for the kill. He is now 3-1-1. Gives him a little bit of a much-needed gold boost for him.
You know, and maybe this is a reason why SQY specifically loves this hero so much. He is one of the very few support, and probably the only support hero that I think about that can get a solo kill. I mean, that was basically a solo kill right there because of the Cursed Ground and that ultimate of his. I mean, it stacks up so quickly, and he definitely got the kill, earned the kill right there onto Polywog Priest. So that was good for this Legion team. Of course, they're going to push this middle tower. Will there be any defense? Not really. Forsaken Archer pushing out big time herself. She was very lucky right there, even that Bubbles didn't really spot her.
Yeah.
And not try to lock her down, because that could have definitely been another kill. So, but good push coming up from Q Squad. Yet again, another pause here from FYKU. It seems like a couple both games now, so some issues going on. But Q Squad will once again reclaim a decent lead here in game number 2.
Yeah, it looks like Parasite's going to go for a first item Hellflower. He has 2 of those Scarabs, so kind of an interesting way to build into that item, but nonetheless is going to go for that. Bubbles does have his portal key, so the initiation tool is there. Plague Rider is not yet level 11, but when he does, that Plague Ultimate is going to do so much damage on top of that Tempest Ultimate, who, by the way, Tempest, he's very close to his own portal key, just needs about another 500 gold.
Yeah, and you mentioned Plague Rider being level 11 soon. The Energizer should be finished here soon, too, and this team is showing that they're playing aggressive. I mean, they're chasing a lot, and, of course, having an Energizer will actually help them big time in those cases. So, yeah, all across the board, things definitely looking strong here for our Legion team in Q Squad. You got Tempest. He's getting pretty close to a portal key. He has 1666 gold saved up for him, so he is on his way. Obviously, Bubbles has had his portal key now for a little bit. Again, he just was off to a great start here for Q Squad. And then you got Draconis going the Sustainer, eventually into that Nullstone. We'll see if he just keeps the typical Nullstone Shrunken Head Savage Mace style, or if he maybe changes it up a little bit. But Hellborn side, you got 1,900 gold saved up on Forsaken Archer, so she's on her way to her first big item, whatever that may be. Of course, last game went to the Nullstone on Silhouette, but this time around probably not going to be that. I mean, something else. But
I think Shrunken Head is definitely necessity this game. Yeah. Against the Plague Rider Ultimate, the Bubbles Ultimate. Obviously, the Voodoo Ultimate can still hit you, but all the magic damage that Draconis is doing right now, yes, in the late stages of the game, he's going to be doing lots of auto-attack damage, but right now, it's all magic damage coming out from this Legion side. So if anything, Shrunken Head and Vestments need to be picked up on every hero. Yeah. You have them right now on Polywog, you have them right now on Forsaken Archer, but it really does need to be a necessary item on every hero this game.
Yeah, you talked about Parasite picking up the 2 Scarabs on his way to the Hellflower, but boy, does he have a ways to go still. He has not had the greatest game. I mean, he's 0-1-2, so getting a couple of assistants, but you know, we talked about it early on. He was really struggling from the beginning, didn't really seem to find his place. But hopefully for his sake and for FYKU's sake, ultimately, that he can start recovering big time and be a big impact in this game that he definitely can be. So, Pinky Curdy there had a great Keeper of the Force game last game. Parasite, not a great follow-up so far, but we'll see if he picks it up. Look at the bottom lane, though. The Legion team, they're kind of cleaning up what was double-stacked Ancients, and now they're going to try to push this bottom tower. Polywog Priest needs to be a little bit careful, as does Forsaken Archer and Aluna. Polywog Priest, little does he know he's kind of running into a death trap here. He's going in. Here comes the ports, but he's going in right now. Balls to the wall. There's a silence coming up for Bubbles. What a piercing arrows from Forsaken Archer right there. A lot of damage coming out. Tempest will fall. Already getting the kill on Voodoo Jester. We do see Draconis just going to run away. The Plague's bouncing around, but an awesome spread coming out from FYKU. Forsaken Archer lives. Draconis wants to finish her. Is going to finish her with the Dragon Flame, but at what cost right here? The power throw comes out, and down goes Draconis. Bubbles trying to get away. He gets the kill into Luna, but again, now he's in some trouble. Parasite chasing, puts out the leech, one more auto attack, and a genocide for FYKU. Parasite and Glacius, the sole survivors. That was an interesting fight.
Oh my god, that was so sloppy. And actually that Plague Rider ultimate, despite the spread, actually did a lot of damage. I don't know if when he casted that, it was actually a level 11 ultimate. I'm not sure, or sorry, level 2, I should say. I don't think it was. I feel like he leveled right afterwards, but had he actually leveled, I feel that would have done a lot more damage. Nothing to note on top of that, the Grave Locket, Forsaken Archers are already up and ready to go.
True.
It's just another kind of fun thing about that item, but very good piercing arrows on top of that volley combination coming out from Ninja Pew. That did a lot of damage.
It was hitting
specifically
3 heroes.
Onto Tempest. Yeah,
it was hitting 3 heroes. It did get canceled, actually. I don't know if a stun was used on the illusion. Obviously, you can do that to destroy it. But it got canceled fairly quickly, it seemed like, so that was the good news for QsQ, but it was hitting 3 heroes and doing a lot of damage right there. Obviously, Tempest and I think it was Voodoo Jester even died as a result of it. So, in the end, FYKU, I mean, you said it, it just seemed like a fairly sloppy fight, really, on both sides even, but hey, FYKU came out on top, and a win's a win in the end, no matter how you get there. So I'm sure they're happy with that. Forsaken Archer choosing to go actually Warhammer pick up with her first item pick up here, assist some damage on her way to possibly that Shrunken Head, as you talked about, definitely being a necessity here for Forsaken Archer, but just wanted to get the damage out by first rather than a little bit more survivability with that Mighty Blade. Middle lane, though, QsQ, I mean, talk about keeping up the aggression. Even with the Draconis, they just want to just keep this up. They don't want to allow FYKU to, I guess, sit back and kind of recover here. I mean, what do you make of that? Do you think this is a smart choice by QsQ?
Well, they still have the Tempest ultimate, and actually the Plague Rider ultimate is up already? Wow. So maybe he did use it at level 11, because that seems like a very fast cooldown to me. But anyway, it must have been. That was so fast. But they're grouping up. They still have their ultimates, and they have good spells. There's the portal key on a Tempest. They're probably just going to wait for that and then look for some kind of initiation. The other important thing to note is, Polywog was just kind of like marching in, like I got like Leroy Jenkins style. Looked kind of funny, and didn't get those wards off. So that was really important for them. They still were able to manage to actually come out on top on that fight, but yeah, I imagine if he's able to get those down, it'll be much easier. But that being said, also Tempest wasn't able to get his ultimate off that fight either, and he does now have that initiation tool that they need. So Nullstone is very close to being completed. Here we go, Breaking.
Energizer used. They're going to charge in. The kill feels already out. Glacius taking a lot of damage. There's a Tempest ultimate. Catches Forsaken Archer as well as he ports in. The follow-up, not the greatest. There's a Plague, though. The silence coming out for Parasite, but a little bit too late. Piercing arrows were used. Forsaken Archer, a lot of damage. He's going to barely survive in the end. The crippling, well, yes, it's going to hit, but he dies shortly after. Plague will go down, though. Polywog Priest buys back, comes into the fight. There's the portal key out for Bubbles. And again, FYKU, despite solid initiation from QsQ, will somehow come out on top. I mean, Bubbles the only survivor in the end from QsQ. I think the piercing arrows did so much damage there yet again from Forsaken Archer. Yeah. Obviously, Polywog Priest bought back, but still, they came out on top 2-1 in the end, so, or 3-1 even.
Yeah, I don't know if I really agree with that buyout entirely, but, he wanted to secure a kill nonetheless and make something happen and come out on top in the fight. Bubbles did get away, and now the interesting thing to know, I really think this Grave Locket is doing wonders for Forsaken Archer. It's keeping him alive a lot longer than I think he should. Just an extra stat item, on that carry that really seems to help a lot. I think Parasite could have. I'm not really sure where his positioning was, but he needed to cancel that ultimate a little bit faster on Tempest. Tempest was able to get, I think, about 75% of the ultimate off before it was canceled by Parasite, if not even more. And then on top of that, the Plague Rider ultimate did a lot of damage. I'm just surprised at the fact that they're actually coming out on top of these fights, despite, like you said, the great initiation and the great, massive team fight spells coming out from QsQ.
It seemed like that was going to be just obliteration by a Legion team. It really did, and that's why when I looked up all of a sudden, I see 4 heroes dead on the Legion side, and 2, and then even with the buyback, 3 being up in total for the Hellborn team. It's just, wait, what just happened? I mean, it seemed like that should not have gone in their favor, but it somehow did. I mean, Forsaken Archer porting into a Tempest ultimate initially. You mentioned Parasite getting there very, very late, unfortunately, stopping the Tempest ultimate when it was already just about at full duration. That Plague just bouncing around, but somehow they managed to turn that around. And like I said, I think it had a little bit to do with Forsaken Archer piercing arrows. I'm sure Polywog Priest and the wards being down those level 2 wards helped as well. And Aluna, she is getting some levels. I mean, she did have a surprisingly horrible start, honestly. Vian Sensation didn't have the greatest time against a 1-versus-1 Plague Rider matchup, which you would think would be fairly good for her. But right now, she is somewhat recovering. She is level 11. I mean, so at least she's getting level. She isn't that ward bitch Aluna that we see. She is getting more of a somewhat decent farm. She's got Steam Boots and whatnot adding up, and that is the good news. Forsaken Archer is very close to finishing that Shrunken Head. And if they're winning fights with these initiations coming up from QsQ, that Shrunken Head on Forsaken Archer, that's going to be tremendous here now for FYKU. So, again, this is continuing to be actually somewhat of an even game between these two teams.
Definitely. And I think first item Shrunken Head, honestly, on Forsaken Archer, I know a lot of people give bad rap to players who go for Shrunken Head first because it doesn't give you the most damage. It doesn't let you farm quickly. But a lot of Forsaken Archer's damage, as we've seen, coming out in these fights is coming from that ultimate. It's not coming from auto attack damage right now.
Yeah.
And so just her being alive right now at this point is the most important thing. Actually, Polywog's in a lot of trouble down here. Pushed up so far. I'm not quite sure what she was doing all by himself down there in the bottom lane.
I think he was going to purchase a portal key from the outpost, but he just got jumped. But he did purchase a portal key before.
Okay, thank God.
So, yeah, he at least got it. So that is, again, kind of one of those, I guess, good news. But, yeah, still, he sacrificed himself just to do that. Was pretty silly. And a good catch from the Legion team. Speaking of portal keys, obviously Tempest has his. Aluna picking up an Arcana herself, so Hellflower on the way for her. Hellflower, Parasite has 2 Arcanas. He definitely jumped up there pretty quickly. It seemed like he was getting off to a slow start, but he's recovering. So that is more good news for FYKU. But bottom tower push coming out from QsQ. The tower already fairly low. Draconis is heading over. He is going to start damaging the Ancients a little bit on the way, but he says, screw it, I'm just going to go right for the tower, help the team, and the tower will fall as a result. I mean, what do you make of this, though? It really does seem like Draconis is involving himself a lot more in team fights than we're used to seeing.
Well, yeah, he is, and unfortunately he's died quite a bit, too, but, I mean, Draconis, look at him. He's got so much. Actually, Tempest taking a lot of damage from these Ancients is going to blink away, be fine, and actually Homecoming support out, but, yeah, he's dying a little bit more, I think, than he needs to or than he should. But he is being aggressive, and he's still farming, top farmer in the game, actually. Yeah. This Draconis that was shut down by a tri-lane, and he's at 401 gold per minute, but yeah, he's being active. He's almost got, I think he bought his Mighty Blade, actually.
Yes.
So he's going to be on his way to a Shrunken Head relatively soon, probably in the next 4 minutes or so. Even a Mighty Blade picked up on Bubbles, as you see right there, so going to go for a Shrunken Head himself. The push book is finished now onto Plague Rider, so a good overall item against this team, especially that Polywog Trap. But the gold lead actually after that tower and then those Ancients stealing is definitely favoring QsQ right now. Almost 6k gold, about 5,500. And then another vote to pause coming out from Shizor, so unfortunately we have to wait for that.
I think that's their final pause, actually. You get 3 for each team. So the final pause coming out for FYKU. Again, hopefully nothing too serious. And won't have to do it again here in this, what is game number 2. As you can see on your screen, it is a 1-0 game advantage in favor of FYKU. Of course, if you are just tuning in, it was an awesome game 1, but FYKU played very, very well. Looking good, a team we don't know too much about going into the series, but learning more and more as this series progresses, and definitely impressed by their play. And again, really both of these teams controlling their own destiny. Can't keep stressing that enough. Controlling their own destiny in the sense if you win here, if you win out, okay, if you win out, I mean you're getting that 3rd place spot pretty much, whether it's FYKU or QsQ, and so yeah, it's quite a big deal for to win here for both of these two teams. Of course, FYKU, they are set to play the Returners tomorrow. The Returners, I don't know if they've still started their series yet against. It's supposed to be Call of Karma today. But, and you know, depending on what happens there, if the Returners wins, it could set up for just an epic clash between this FYKU team against the Returners to see who may earn that 3rd place spot. So, again, it really is cool how Group A especially is shaping up to be an awesome finish all the way to the very end. Keeping the suspense alive is always fun. So, of course, just finishing top 3. Oh, very important here in what is Destination DreamHack here for the DreamHack series. So,
yep. And I am monitoring Enso's progress, actually, in Game 1. They have started, and they're significantly winning right now at a very early lead. The score kill is 28-9. They have 56 assists compared to 18 coming out from Call It Karma. So they are in a very good position right now, needless to say, in Game 1. So
Testy playing Tremble again, too.
Yeah, Testy playing Tremble yet again.
Yeah.
And they went with the Fade draft. But Anyway, we'll have more updates as that comes along. Still here in this pause, but yeah, I think actually a second Arcana was picked up on a Luna, so she's actually quite close to her Hellflower. Has another 800 gold, so it's going to need about another 800 or so.
They could, her and Parasite are going to have Hellflowers, at the very near times.
Yeah.
All of a sudden going from no Hellflowers to double Hellflower.
Yeah.
That's huge. Now, you do talk about you got a Null Stone here on Draconis, but they have plenty of abilities to remove that Null Stone prior. Again, it's still one of those cases you still have to remember to do it. But yeah, so if they want to go on him with the Hellfire, obviously they would have to make sure to deactivate that first. But I'm not even saying that's who they really need to use it on. Maybe getting the jump on that Bubbles, the Plague Rider, or of course even the Tempest could even make more sense. But having the two Hellflowers even allows you to spread that, obviously. Top lane, Luna is in a lot of trouble. Speaking of her, both Tempest and Bubbles jump, and she can't even get a stun off. The Glacial Blast is so annoying to deal against, and it kept her locked down. So farming the top lane a little bit. They didn't have much vision here at the top side of the map, other than this one here more towards the middle, and that definitely paid off for QsQ right there. So good pick for them coming out.
Yeah, and the worst part for FYKU is they baited out 2 TPs, so both Glacius and Parasite ported to the top lane are not going to be available to, let's say, counter push or farm. Well, Glacius is trying to get to farm up here, but there's actually an Invis Plague Rider up here in the top woods of FYKU. But yeah, baiting out those TPs is always the biggest thing, even on top of that kill, which they got.
Yeah. Plague Rider, he wants a kill up here in a Glacius. Not going to go for it himself, though. And, of course, that would be a kind of a silly move. Even if he uses everything, I would expect maybe Force to come in and perhaps counter. So just wants to play it safe. Not going to go for the open, and Glacius will fall back already. Polywalk Priest going to be pulling some Ancients here. Hopefully stacking them, maybe. Forsaken Archer obviously nearby in the lane. She has another 1,700 gold saved up after that early Shrunken Head pickup. There's the first Hellflower finished. It is picked up by Parasite, so he's got little red booties. Got a Ring of Sorcery, though. And then Hellflower. Now you see the stack on the Ancient, so I'm sure Forsaken Archer may go over there. Did she just buy something? Yes, she did. It is a Warhammer, so Shieldbreaker, I guess. Going to be in the makings here for Forsaken Archer. You like that pickup?
Or it could be in the works of a Charged Hammer. That'd be pretty silly. I mean, actually, it wouldn't be that bad.
Thunderclaw, yeah.
But, I mean, if you look at, the builds that Draconis is going and Bubbles is going, you don't want to build a Thunderclaw against that. But anyway, yeah, Shieldbreaker is going to be great on Forsaken Archer. He's going to have that massive that damage and piercing that armor. It is good against especially Plague, who's granting that +8 armor now. It is level 4 Cursed Shield onto his team, so auto attacks are not going to be that effective, but if you can get something like a level 3 Shieldbreaker, that'll certainly help a lot.
Yeah, so we'll see where she goes. I mean, you are right. We could make a Thunderclaw, so not to get too ahead of ourselves. But yeah, definitely on our way to that. Of course, it could also be the Savage Mace, too. So
yeah, it could be
possibility.
That. Yeah.
Or
a second Shrunken Head.
Or, you know what? Why not have 2, right? They're going to clean up triple stack Ancients right here as a team. I'm sure the Piercing Arrows are going to come out. No, not even that. Just going to use it as a team. I'm sure Forsaken Archer are going to get a majority of the farm. Now, maybe a Luna. She is working on that second Hellflower, but it seems like it's being spread out a little bit. But yeah, so nothing like doing triple stack Ancients as a team, spreading out the farm, getting them down fairly quickly. But you do look at Draconis. He is going up and up. Nox being not only Nox himself, but this is, of course, the Dargon. This is just what he does. Shrunken Head has been finished. It's being delivered, I believe. Yes, it is on the courier. And being delivered to... Is that somebody else's Shrunken Head, actually? It's a full Shrunken Head. No, that's his pattern. Okay, that's items for somebody else. Anyways, I believe he has that Shrunken Head finished, and more items being delivered to the bottom lane as well. So the Q Squad, they started this game very aggressive. I mean, a lot of ganks going on, a lot of early pushing, but they've slowed that down a little bit now here finally. Double damage Bubbles, a little bit of trouble in the Hellborn jungle, but he's going to be fine, just falls back before he gets caught. So FYKU, they're also spending a good amount of time sitting back and farming, but you got to think now for them, there has to be a point of, well, we got to start making something happen soon, because that Draconis will start to get out of hand. And overall, I mean, this is just such a dangerous Legion team here. So,
yeah, to really turn this for FYKU, to win this game, I'm looking specifically at that Parasite. He does have that very strong tool with the Hellflower, but he's really going to need something more, especially against this Tempest. He's going to need a portal key. And actually some action here. I'll let you take over, Breaking.
Oh, they jump Voodoo Jester, but at what cost right here? The Golden Dragon comes out. The Cataclysmic Assault is activated. Polywar Priest dropping. There's a Tempest ultimate to catch them. Glacius comes in with the freeze, though. A great counter. However, Luna's already picked out. The Plague is bouncing around. So much damage to the Shrunken Head Forsaken Archer, though. She's trying to just stand her ground, but it's not going to be enough in the end, it looks like. Oh, nice tablet right there from Plague Rider. And he's going to be fine. Forsaken Archer will fall. Parasite is still alive. I don't know if he bought back. It looks like he didn't, but Aluna did buy back. However, it's just not going to really result in much, so Parasite just got the hell out of there. He is on the run. Easily a one fight, it seemed like, for Q Squad. Parasite, will he even be able to port here? I believe he will. Yes, he will. So he's going to be fine, but the damage, again, done there by the Legion team. So Voodoo Jester, big bait plays by him. And, well, FYKU, they fell for it.
It just seems like Dragon with that Shrunken Head activator is taking absolutely no damage. Yes, they do have that Shield Breaker pickup, but it's just not enough at this point. They're really going to need a jump from Parasite. They're going to need that Hellflower onto him, and not only just to prevent him from popping the Shrunken Head and using his spells, but that extra damage is going to be so necessary, that plus 20% extra damage. So Parasite, I feel like they need an initiation tool on top of Polywog. They can't just do it with Polywog. They're going to need something else. So Parasite really needs to work towards that portal key.
Yeah, definitely does. So,
and he's also a hero that can take off that Nullstone immediately. He can just blink in, use that Q, use that Hellflower, and then on top of that, silence him even more if he needs to with the Face Hug. Obviously, he can Shrunken Head out of that. So maybe it might even be smarter to use the Face Hug to take off that Nullstone so that you can use the Hellflower and the slow from Leech. Kind of sounds silly, but it's one of those times when I think using that Face Hug to cancel that Nullstone might be smarter.
Well, yeah, so we'll see what Pinky Curdy here playing this Parasite, if he agrees with you or perhaps goes for something else. He is at this bottom lane. You see 3 players here, though, from the Legion side, Plague, Tempest, and Aluna, all here ready to go in case they do get jumped. But so more heroes coming in for the Hellborn team as well, so another possible clash at the bottom lane going to be happening. Obviously, you would think that FYK learned the lesson from the first time, getting the bait on a Voodoo Jester. But this time it is definitely numbers in their advantage. So if they get a jump right here, this could be great for them. You see a little bit of running around. Parasite charging in right here. They're going to get some initiation. The Hellfire is applied to Plague as he tablets away, but he will be fine in the end. Voodoo Jester going for a port out. There's the Hex, and Voodoo Jester, wow, just got annihilated right there. So at least they got one kill. Now they're going to push this lane as a team. And I think they're going to get the tower kill. It's probably the case now for Q Squad. They're like, you know what? You can go ahead and have the tower.
Yeah, they don't have the ultimate up on Tempest. They do have it on Plague, who's doing a lot of damage. Tempest has a Shrunken Head. Bubbles, I think, just purchased his as well. They now have 3 Shrunken Heads, and against a team that doesn't have that much auto attack damage, at least right now, is going to be very effective. And I mentioned, of course, the Face Hug, using that to cancel, or even just using that. The only problem, too, Parasite, is you've got a number of different things you have to worry about. You got to make sure you get Dragon before he pops that Shrunken Head, but at the same time, you have to make sure you stand back and cancel that Tempest ultimate, because now Parasite is the only one that can do that.
Yeah.
Because Tempest has that Shrunken Head.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that just really makes it that much more difficult now for FYKU. But, of course, that goes back to the logic of if you're FYKU, you maybe needed to play a little bit more aggressive earlier on and try to get some advantages somewhere. Because now, as this game is progressing, items like that are going to start being picked up, and they already have even. And then, of course, on top of that, you have the Draconis, who went to Whispering Hail now after his Shrunken and Nullstone pickup. And he still has another 2,000 gold saved up. So farming, again, pretty ridiculous here. As well, that's what you would expect. 486 gold per minute. It just constantly rises every time we pull up that GPM chart, it seems like. Hellborn team, though, they're keeping trying to make... Oh, wow, yeah, middle lane. Polywog Priest is going to be jumped here. He is going to take the stun the last second, just trying to get away. Not going to happen, though, and he falls to the ground. So another pick happening for Q Squad, and it's starting to get a little bit too crazy here. Shieldbreaker level 3 has been finished by Forsaken Archer.